Well, good morning, everyone, and really thank you for coming out and joining us this morning. And Richard, thank you again for hosting me. It's really a pleasure and an honor to be here today. And as Bob referenced, it is an extraordinary moment in time. Major political transition in the United States, economic turmoil, financial markets restructuring themselves. Certainly there's a little bit going on, but there's also, I think you'll agree, an acute feeling of a need for leadership at this point in time. And that's a lot what I'll be talking about today, that more the opportunities associated in the environment versus the negativism that could be construed from the environment we find ourselves in. I mean, I think political leaders aren't the only ones who have been handed this mandate for change. I mean, leaders of business institutions everywhere confront this unique opportunity to transform the world that we live in. We have the chance, for reasons we might not like, but we certainly have the chance in this crisis that the financial markets have jolted us into and have awakened us to the realities of a world, and a world of complex systems that are more integrated today. But this is only one of a series of events that, quite honestly, has occurred in the first decade of the 21st century. And I think it's been a series of wake-up calls in this world, and I'll refer to as the reality of global integration. 2 years ago, as many of you might know, I published an essay in Foreign Affairs describing the changing structure of the corporation. I just felt that it was a topic that hadn't been discussed in light of what was going on as the world's globally integrated economically. And I described the emergence of a kind of a corporation, a globally integrated enterprise that would transform itself from the multinational that we all traditionally had grown up in and we were quite familiar with. Today, there's a growing consensus that this is real, that global integration does represent a different business model for the corporations of the world. But it also is more than, I think, than just the movement of information and work and capital across the developing and developing nations. It's also profound in that it constitutes really just one aspect of what we're seeing today, just one aspect of this world as it globally integrates. In the last few years, our eyes have been opened to global climate change, to the environmental and geopolitical issues surrounding energy. We've been made aware of supply chains for food and medicine. And of course, we entered the new century with the shock of our own personal security after 9/11. These collective realizations have reminded us that we are now connected, economically, technically, and socially. We're also learning that being connected is not sufficient. Yes, the world is flatter. Yes, it is connected. Yes, it is getting smaller, but there's more taking hold than just that. In a word, I think the world is becoming smarter today than it was historically.